And we are live, Social Surge with Fly and Mo. Ooh, and now I'm getting massive feedback. And we are live. Oh, good. There we go. Good times.
Oh no, we were live and I did a really bad accent.
Did you?
And I got some drip. Look at this drip.
That's fantastic. I love that.
Some Crexy
that is
drip.
a Crexy hat.
Yep. Solid color scheme. My Crexy water bottle that I got at ICSC is the water bottle, but it
is the best water bottle.
It's not on my
well, good morning. It is Social Surge with Fly and Mo, and today we're talking about it being not that complicated. However, I had some complications with sound and with audio and with all the things this morning. So
look, it's gonna happen, right? Hi team, Dwayne. What's up, Dwayne? Crew is rolling in. They're like, what's going on? You just know that either two things are happening if we're not here: technical issues or
technical issues.
Like, I was also personally late because I was slicing a banana.
Hey, Ruby needs her banana. Good morning, Cerulean Tide Designs, joining us on Instagram.
So I was up late thinking about social media because that's what's only in my that's what's in my brain, or my brain is in social media, whichever one you want to think about it. But there were a couple of things that I've seen over the last couple of days and a couple of conversations that I've had that I was just like, you know what, we like talking about all the technical stuff, talking about all the data, talking about all these things. So like, for me, the most important thing that any of this can come down to, and it doesn't matter where you are on your social media journey. You could have 500,000 followers on X, or you could have like 2 connections on LinkedIn and you're like, what do I do? You start, and that's it. And this is what's going to happen. This is what happened to us all, right? Like, when you start, it is not going to be the caliber necessarily or the quality that you see some of these other accounts have, right? That have a developed style, they have a developed voice, they like have all of these things. You cannot let where you are in your growth, this is like a mindset piece, and I think I'm lagging. Oh dear, did I freeze?
No, you're good.
Okay,
good morning, Robin.
The mindset about this is that you cannot let where you are in your growth and your talent and your skill using in any industry stop you from taking the steps that it's going to take you to get there. If you were going to go lift weights, you're not going to go for the heavy bar right away. You have to start with lower reps and get inside of a muscle memory. And so one of the things that has sort of like brought me back to this foundational conversation about the mindset that you need going into this is a couple of things. There was an exchange between a couple of big accounts on X talking about and like reflecting on the fact that they can't believe that they've grown to like a serious number of followers. And the how behind what unlocked that for them was the ability to show up as themselves, and to show up as themselves and what they actually have to say, as opposed to trying to say the thing that they need to say, or worrying about the kind of formatting that it's going to show up in, right? Or like holding yourself back because you don't know how to edit a video, or you don't know what the right hook is, or like you don't have the graphic quality that you're hoping for. None of those things are reasons to hold yourself back, because all of those things, all of the formatting, all of the accoutrement, and all of like the little bows that you tie up on everything to like make things really sing, none of that matters if you don't have a voice. None of that matters if you don't articulate what you actually have to say. And what you actually have to say is the only unique thing about you. All of the graphics and the little captions and like what platform you're on and your profile picture and all those things, like there's a standard format for how, those things look. And none of it is actually like, none of it is unique in many, many ways. And so when I see people when I see people holding themselves back because they don't know what to do, or they don't think that it's good enough, you are focusing on the wrong thing. And so like a couple of people that I'm close with, I've had conversations about their social media in the last couple of days, like both like what they should be posting, you know, when they should be posting, all the technical stuff that we talk about here. And you want to know what? Two people. Same conversation with two people on like, here, you know, here's what you're doing. Here's where here's where I think you can go with this. Two things happen. One person posted, the picture was a picture. It was kind of like a picture that anybody could take. There wasn't anything special about the composition. There was no editing. There was no graphic overlay, nothing. The caption of the photo, there were typos. The copy and the formatting of the copy was like nothing to write home about. It just looked like some random, it was what any normal person may produce without having training or without having guidance or whatever, right? The other person didn't post. The other person posted nothing. And people who post content that is not polished, that is like by many, many standards bad, are doing way better than the people who are not posting. Full stop.
Let me jump in here real quick, because I just actually was talking to a client about this, about making video. And it was all the excuses. Oh, I don't look good. I don't do that. I don't do this. I wasn't dressed right. I don't care. Part of our relationship and part of our working relationship, and yes, I am this mean, is you agreed to provide me with content. I cannot do my job if you are not providing the things that I need to be able to create the content for you. And I gave the example. I'm like, I go on Instagram stories and I'm like, I'm literally looking at my eyebrow as I'm talking in the story because I have one hair that's out of, I'm like, what's going on with this eyebrow? What's happening here? And then I'm like, oh, I digress. We're not talking about my eyebrow. You know what I mean? Like, I'm showing up. I look like hot trash and I'm still providing value, right? But like, I'm not worried about what's happening here. Because to me, it's like, this is how I'm going to show up. I have the inspiration right now. I'm going to put it out right now. If you can't handle the hot trash mess, oh, well. And then when you see me in like real life and we're at an event and I've got makeup on and my hair's done and you're like, huh. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going to show up with the hot trash mess, right? Like, but you know that what you're going to get from me is authentic. It's not, I'm not trying to put on airs, I guess is the best word. And that's what we want people to understand. You can show up messy. We would appreciate it if you just freaking showed up. Boom.
100%. 100%. Because like, again, at the end of the day, the most important part of social media is not the media. It is the social, right? And so you have things to say and people to say them to. And I know that y'all can say them because I see the DMs, right? I see the screenshots of the text messages. I see them, right? I know you have things to say. And now some of those things, like, okay, like, yes, there are things that we should not talk about in public, right? There are some conversations that are best held for the DMs, right? However, when you can develop a comfort level with yourself where you can unapologetically show up without having to worry about how you look, how you sound, and like accept who you are and lean into that, you are going to be miles and miles ahead of all the other people who are schlepping the same message, who are schlepping the same, like, in a world of real estate and investing and blah, blah, blah. It's like, if you sound like everybody else, why would we pay attention? Why should we pay attention? And so the content that really hits, the content that really smashes is when people actually say what they have to say, who they actually have to say it to. And so one of the things that I do, that I try to encourage people to do, is hold in their mind, even if they're on like just talking to the camera by themselves or they're just writing a post, like, you need to speak directly to the person that you are trying to reach. And like, if that's an avatar or a persona or something, like that's a really useful tool to understand like the general tone of things. But like, if sometimes I will see a tweet or like I'll see a story of yours, Mo, that it's like it is very clearly about one specific person. And like the thing is that whatever that person is dealing with, whatever problem that person has that you can solve, whatever you believe in so strongly that they also need to believe in order to say yes to working with you, that's what you need to say. So that's what you need to say. And with the so there's two things I really want to focus on here. Is that the best thing that you can do is start and just accept the fact that all of the polish that comes with, it's like learning a language, right? It's like learning how to use the tools and like present all of your content on social media. It's like learning another language, right? It's going to take time, but it is a technical thing that you can learn through repetition. And if you're not focusing on who you are and what you have to say and leaning into that, you can have all the polish in the world and you will not strike a chord in the heart of the person you're trying to reach. And so it's like, you need to start, you need to think about what you actually have to say and what only you can say, and then you need to say it.
Correct.
Basics.
Absolutely. It is super basic, and it seems like it is a super easy thing to do, but when we get people to sit down and actually do it, they get in their head and they start thinking about, well, what is my boss going to say? Or, what is this investor or this group? What are they going to think? Well, they're going to think you're human. And that's the whole point. We want to connect with other humans. It is the human relationship that we're looking at building and constructing and maintaining. We're not looking at least in my estimation, you shouldn't be looking at trying to sound smart. You shouldn't be looking at trying to be so polished on social that people don't know how to relate to you. What you should be doing is, how can I speak? How can I create content that is going to connect with the person on the other side of the screen? So when I talk to clients about creating video content, right? A lot of times I'm telling them, how would you explain this to your mom?
Yes.
What you do? How would you explain, what kind of conversation would you have with your best friend to explain this concept? I'm talking with somebody who, has a lot of knowledge and information about CMBS loans. I don't freaking know any of that stuff. Like, however, yes. So, yeah, Dwayne, I agree with you here. He says, I do know of folks who've gotten fired. Yes, we do know of folks who've gotten fired. So they have to be careful as well. Get that. Totally get that. I think what we're talking about here, Dwayne, is that we're not talking about airing your dirty laundry on social. This is not Facebook, right? Not Facebook. We all wanted to know what was in everybody's heads, and then Facebook came around and we're like, stop. I don't need to know that. It's okay. It's too much information. What we're talking about here is making your content relatable in a way that everybody can understand it. But there's a challenge here, because as professionals, we want to sound professional, but that doesn't always relate when we're talking on social media. If you're talking about a white paper, definitely. I don't think you would want to write the same way on social as you would for a white paper or a case study. But you do want to you can take that content and then create relatable content and put it on social so that people can understand. Remember, we've talked about this before. You have knowledge at a 10 and you're breaking it down to a 5, but the person you're trying to reach only understands it at a 3. So you have to actually break it down even further. Julian, hate Facebook. Facebook has its uses. I could go off on a tangent on that, but talking about the actual content that relates, you have to break it down even further than you thought, because the concepts and the things that The other person on the other side of the screen, they don't have that intimate knowledge and information. How do you break it down so that it's relatable and understandable? Right. And as we're talking about this and what Fly's talking about getting started, you just have to start. Easiest thing you can do is make a list, right, of all the things that you could talk about, from a place of authority, from a place of being an expert, a subject matter expert. One of the exercises I go through with my clients is if you were asked to get up on stage and talk about any subject for 5 minutes, what would that subject be?
5 minutes is a long time.
It is well, for us, it's not. For you and I,
Clearly.
But like when I do that exercise, I could talk about marketing, social, being a mom, being the wife of somebody who was in law enforcement, relationships. There's all these things that I've talked about on social media already that I know I could get up on stage and I could talk about these things. I could talk about radio. I could talk about what it means to work, being a woman working in a male dominated industry, right? Those are things that I've already spoken about or I've already created content about that I could get up on stage and do that. What is it that you can do, that you can talk about, that you have no challenges, no issues? Pull out your phone, start talking to your phone, do a voice memo, send that voice memo, do voice to text. Boom. You have so much content and so much information and so much knowledge in you that you can start sharing on social, and it's there. It just needs to come out. So remove the friction. What is the easiest? I'm not a good writer. I don't care. Pull out your phone, record a video. You don't even have to look at yourself. The phone could be up at the ceiling. I don't care. I just want to hear your
Oh, no. I'm going to start filming the phone. No, but it's like, you're not trying to win a Pulitzer Prize. Look, you're not trying to win a Pulitzer Prize. And you're not
trying to win a Pulitzer Prize. I still have to write the book, but it's fine.
But it's like, you have to understand, like, really seriously, that's not, you are here to make connections with people and to help them. You are not here to win a Pulitzer Prize. And if you let any kind of like gaps that you may have in your technical knowledge or your writing ability, like, stop you from reaching the people that you are here to help, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Now, like, if you are like, I don't know, we're close on time and I was about to drop into another tangent, but it's just like, when I look, Bob Knakal started someplace. Strip mall guy started someplace. Kyle Matthews started someplace. Everybody started someplace. And none of these people, when they started, all these people who have like digital market share of like the most followers and like, who don't even think now. Bob Knakal and Don Tepman got on a live video on X the other day. They just happened to be in the same place. There was nothing fancy about it. There was no special lighting. The camera was shaky, and it was just two dudes talking about real estate. And and like, I can already hear the objections of like, well, Bob is Bob and Don is Don. And I'm like, yeah. And they're also just two dudes talking about real estate, holding their camera like this, like every other person does.
Yep.
Right. And so it's like, everybody, like, there is no reason to let any of those excuses stop you from doing the same thing. You don't have 500,000 followers or whatever. Okay, cool. Talk to the people that you are engaging with. Speak to those people, right? And this is actually what happens. This is actually, people talk about the algorithm and like all this stuff. No. That's not it. What this actually is taking the conversations that you are already having and making them public through media, and more people get drawn into those conversations because you're making it accessible to them. You are literally keeping yourself from people who need you, who you can help, and who will give you their money, because you're letting all these other things get in the way of that. Now, can you get help? Can you get better? 100% yes. But you have to remove the block that it's not possible for you, and that you need anything else to start other than what's already in here and what's already in here.
Boom, she's done. Mic drop.
I actually am done.
She's like, I gotta go. All right, so it's not that complicated is what we're telling you. Get out of your head and start creating content that you think is going to be valuable, that you think is going to help somebody out. And before all of that, just start creating content. Even if you don't think it's going to be valuable. Some of the best stuff I've ever posted has just been random rants about subjects, right?
As such, case in point.
It can be totally random. Do we want you to have a plan? Yes, because random doesn't always work, right? You actually have to have content pillars that you should be talking about. There are things that help you create the content, but it is not that complicated. So our challenge for you today, if you do not post, we want to see a picture. We want to see you talk about your day. We want to see you post something today, and then please either tag me or Fly or DM us and say, hey, I posted. What do you think? I would love that. I would absolutely love that. Please, let's do that. Start creating that content. We'll be back here next Tuesday because you actually got me thinking about follower counts and why vanity metrics suck. And we're going to be talking about that on Tuesday. So we'll see you back here. Have a great day, everybody. Miss Fly, take Miss Ruby to school. I'm sure she's. I
gotta cut up another banana. I'm sure.
She's like, I want bananas. All right, guys. Everybody, have a great day.